they've left behind, causing clouds and burning towns, Coriolis and outposts, Scotland burning with green flame. Dirty Saffron is to blame, with his ideas so harebrained, turned those dark arts into danger, daffodils right at our door without a care. But our ex-pilot showed them it's the end of the war. No more corrosive coastwall, causing cabbages off pesky panties, trying to wreck your day. Yes, it's the end of the war. My violence can take no more. I'm a billionaire who has no cares. Why should I keep my AX spares? Oh, what a lovely sight to see. The lost types of smithereens, earth lost stained below, what a shit show. At least there's more Earth-likes we know. Humanity is saved. AX pilots so brave. Dug so deep for oh so long. Drove the metal and we all fought to save soul. Then we really kicked their asses. It's the end of the war. No more corrosive coastlaw. Constant cabbages or pesky pansies, trying to wreck your day. Yes, it's the end of the war. Terror tulips close the door. Spiteful spinach, murder flowers. All that burn goes on for hours. Hollow squares are all around me. Hydras roar against our fury. Guardian weapons firing madly. So could not be taken lightly. 10,000 strong we fight on. Oh, it's the end of the war. Laser lilies are no more. Toxic dripping sour salads, really trying to wreck that day. Yes, it's the end of the war. Terror turnips, weeds of woe. Hero pines, it's time to go. Danger days, defeaters, no, yes, it's the end of the war. No more lurking lettuce, no marauding marigolds. A savage silence, fury flowers, a vacuum vegetables. Get back, you wobbly weeds on your bike, son. I'll hit off you bloody go. Alright, son, off you blooming go.
Sometimes you don't want all the bells and whistles, you just want a ship that will get the job done fast. Vulcan DeLacy present to you the Python, a multi-purpose ship that offers the enticing balance of manoeuvrability, firepower and all the compartments you need for mining or hauling. Because any mission, any system, any station, it will do. No matter what you throw at it, because whatever you want to do, it will do it for you.
Dreams. Humanity's dreams. The hope to live among the stars. From early times, we've gazed up to the heavens and wondered if one day we could travel there. Maybe even live there. The Brewer Corporation has made this dream a reality, constructing intricate cathedrals of metal, circling numerous planets across thousands of systems in our human bubble. Why stay rooted in a gravity well when you can be free in orbit, free to dream, free to live, and one day to become the commander and be free to blaze your own trail? Brewer Corporation, the first step into the unknown. Come join us. Be free.
Listen here, ladies. While your man is out and about bringing home the bacon, you need to make sure you look your best, which is why we present to you our Lady Shave. It's small enough to fit into your dainty lady hands and releases a perfumed scent as you cut away that ghastly body hair.
Listen here, ladies. Say no to substandard shaving. At Saracen, we believe a woman deserves a shave as good as a man's. Introducing the Panther Clipper. For women. Gone are the days of your unruly body hair making you look like a bedraggled alpaca. The Panther Clipper is the biggest, baddest shaver credits can buy. And now, it's available in pink. A shade so smooth you'll need a tighter Dominator suit. The new Panther Clipper Lady Shave from Saracen. It's exactly what you've been asking for. In pink.
Reach for the stars. If we all take one step, together we'll get there. Who knows? Who knows where we'll grow or how far? So go far you will, make your own little mark. Reach out in the dark and you'll know. Together our race it will start. Carry that steel. Yes, expansion is real. Oh, can you feel? Yeah, everyone pulls. This bubble won't burst. But we have such a thirst for the stars. Go place on the ground. A new home to breathe in, to fill with the sounds of our people. Flying Type 9s hauling today. So like pulling a thread, we will slowly unwind. Don't make it a grind. There's a galaxy, oh, a galaxy out there to find. And if we all work together, then who knows how far we can get if the goals grow together. There's nothing that we can't beat yet if we all pull together. Then anywhere is within reach if we all hold together. Just watch us and feel us and see us and fear us. We're a tidal wave. We're unstoppable like a miracle. Oh yeah, we want it all. Yeah, we need it all. Can you hear the call? If we all pull together, then anywhere is it within reach if we all hold together. Oh, can you see? Humankind is free. Where will we be in the end? Reach for the stars. Yes, it's so beautiful. We can all feel the pull. Yes, at last we can finally make this place ours.
welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders.
Greetings, Commanders.
The show that talks about the universe of Elite.
And the development of the computer game Elite 4, known as Elite Dangerous.
And the fantastic
Community that surrounds it.
Broadcast from the Orange Sidewinder and hosted by a vending machine technician.
A place of nonsense and innuendo for forum dads.
A self-contained podcast 2 hours long.
Transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
It's even louder than me.
The hottest show this side of Dizzo.
The name of the place.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders, and welcome to episode 531 of Lave Radio, the show that talks about the universe of Elite Dangerous and the fantastic community that surrounds it. I'm your host, Commander Phoenix Fire, otherwise known as Colin Ford, Chief Archivist of Lave Station, and joining me in the Orange Sidewinder bar for this episode, we have our SRV Banksy, the audio challenged Commander Alec Turner.
You have one set of technical difficulties and suddenly you're audio challenged. Good evening, all.
We also have our Head of Health and Safety, Commander Edelweiss, that's known as Ben Moss Woodward.
I'm intrigued what kind of challenge I have.
So many to count.
The show is not long enough.
No, you know, personality problems beyond the dreams of analysts. And also talking and teching at the same time, we have the Chris Mark IV.
Hello!
Hello. Right. So if you wish, you could join us live. I think that Chris Mark IV's hanging out in Lave Station, isn't he?
I'm in the bar.
Excellent. And Ben's doing something as well.
Oh, I'm coming to the bar at least to start with.
Ah, right. Fair enough then. So you hang out at the bar, go join Chris and Ben if you wish. Yes, but if you can't get to us in game, you can always join the Twitch chat channel, which you can access through laveradio.com/live. Click on the live chat, or go straight to twitch.tv/laveradio or YouTube. We're there as well, broadcasting live right now. Hello to the chat room. So it's been a couple of weeks because of things. So let's go around the crew, see how everybody's been doing. We'll just say that quickly that hello to Psykit and the Chris Mark V, because they've been schmoozing with Frontier with Crispy Tater Tot. I know. So we'll probably get a full report of that next week. So yes. And of course, Chris has an awful lot to say about this, some things that are coming up later in the show. So we'll look forward to that. Right. Let's have a quick word with Ben. How have you been this week?
Yeah, I've been good. Had I started RoboCop when last we spoke?
You said you bought it, but you hadn't tried it.
Okay, right. And like I said, I've played through RoboCop. I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's very much 90s RoboCop vibe, including specialized shots that they've obviously done the mocap for, which will take people out in one shot.
Right.
It's got a nice little story in it. It's a good story-based FPS. Obviously, it's RoboCop. You're not running around like a loon. It's slow. It's methodical. It's not stealthy. It's not any of these tropes that we have nowadays. It's just like, I am a walking tank, and I will, and I will shoot you.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Do you get to put someone in a vat of toxic waste and then run them down with a car?
I don't think you get that. Your car is in the game, but essentially it's just like used as a cutscene to get places. But yeah, I did really enjoy the game, and following Colin's many years of gushing, I've also decided I wanted to try out Final Fantasy when it was on Steam sale.
Oh, 15, you mean?
15, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've finally gotten round to trying that out, and yeah, I have very mixed feelings, but I am enjoying it.
Yeah, the mixed feelings about Final Fantasy 15. There's a surprise. Yes, everybody has mixed feelings, I think.
Yeah. Put it this way, 15-year-old Ben was very excited about it.
Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah. Everybody hashtag Cindy. Yeah. Anyway, any Elite stuff?
No.
Oh.
I have been swimming. I went out for some lovely lunch and things like that with the kids. But basically, any gaming time I've been doing has been first person, has been on my handheld using a gamepad, hence Robocopping and Final Fantasying. So no eliting, no space gaming, basically.
Yeah. According to Commander Dave Tinman, it's Peter Weller, the original actor who played Robocop, is doing the voice. And
is it? Okay, excellent.
Yeah, they've got the original actress who played Lewis in it as well. So yes, that's as long as we can sort of blank Robocop 3 from the collective consciousness, I think I'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely it's got me, like, okay, I now need to listen to the Robocop theme for an hour. And just have that on loop for a bit and things like that in parts of it. Oh, and something I loved in Final Fantasy 15 was one of the bros doing the whole da 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 when you go and finish a fight.
Yeah, that's Prompto.
And that just, when I first heard that made me laugh.
Yeah, and Prompto starts off as you think irritating comic relief, but he actually is quite funny later on.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on from Ben, we'll go to the Chris Mark IV.
Hello.
Hello.
What have I been up to? Well, it's been a couple of weeks since I've been on. I have not done a ton. It's been holidays and bank holidayness and sort of relaxing a little bit, and then back into changes and boring bits and pieces for work, which all built up to this weekend, which was excellent. My weekend started, as all good weekends should, on Thursday. When I went down to London, I got invited to go to the Formula One arcade in London for an event, a paid event, which was excellent. I did not think it was going to be as big as it is. It's absolutely huge. I thought it was going to be a few simulators in a basement somewhere in London, and it wasn't. It was, it was really, really impressive. So we got to do a few different circuits on the different races over 2 hours. It was quite a big sort of team of us that were in. And we had some beers and food and bits and pieces, played Formula One, and I managed to win one race. And that was it. As soon as I won that one race, I retired from racing. I hung up my racing helmet and I retired content, because there was no way I was going to beat anything after that. It was, I will just retire happy at that point. But tons of fun doing that. Really enjoyed it. And then, of course, on the Friday, I had a little short trip from London up to Nottingham for Pitcon, which was happening this weekend, and lots of fun had there. I don't know if we're talking all about that just now, or if we're talking about it later.
I thought we were talking about it in the community section.
Community section.
Are we doing that?
Talk about it in the
happy with that,
community section.
Sure, let's do that. Good plan.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, more on Pitcon later. Right. So that leaves Alec.
Well, if we're leaving Pitcon to later, I got nothing. I got a new washing machine. Is anyone interested in that? Not really.
How's your PC doing?
It's lovely. It's great. It's working beautifully, and it's got a new keyboard, which is also lovely, and has lots of RGB, which I've been playing with lots. I've got my keyboard color scheme to match my EDHM modified HUD now, so it looks really cool. I love it. And it's nice and quiet as well, so everyone in the house likes it too.
Yeah.
In-game, I've done a little bit more colonization, actually. I'm currently building a small military settlement in order to get a tier 1 point so I can build a large tourist settlement in order to get some tier 2 points so I can build a planetary port.
Lovely.
So I have a plan. I have a plan which I am slowly... Actually, I have a plan which I'm now about to abandon tomorrow because of something in Community Corner, which we'll come to.
Yes. Okay. Well, lots of things to catch up with. I do apologise for having to run away last show. Is you get a phone call saying I've collapsed outside a kebab shop. Message from your son. Mostly because he'd just given his first pint of blood, and I thought I could walk along like normal, and then collapsed about 500 yards from the hospital. So yes, I had to go pick him up.
Can I actually officially apologise to Gregory? Because when I first read you saying I've collapsed outside a kebab shop, and knowing he is approaching 18, I put 2 and 2 together and came up, somebody's been underage drinking. And very responsibly then phoned their dad to go and get them.
Yes.
So I want to apologise to Gregory for that.
Yeah, you'd think, let's say in the balance of probabilities, that's probably what I would have gone with as well. But yeah, as the reason I was not at Pitcon was because it was my son's 18th birthday. So yes, a lot of took him out to the Pixel Bar, which is a retro arcade pub in the centre of Manchester, which is really nice, and we managed to make a barman feel very old, which is always a good thing.
Can I just check something, Colin? Actually, was this barman probably only in their 20s as well?
No, I think late 20s, sort of.
Oh God!
Late 20s, borderline 30, I think.
Yeah. So how does it make us feel? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just to make me feel better, he asked me for my ID as well.
That always makes you feel good, doesn't it?
Yeah, so that was rather an expensive night, but yes, and of course they got up absolutely. They do these wonderful cocktails based on video games as well. So I ended up with an Astarian Blood, which was absolutely gorgeous. I've got the recipe for it somewhere, but I can't actually share it with everybody. And yeah, they had a lot of Minecraft creepers, which. Was amusing, to say the least.
Any chicken jockeys?
Pardon?
Any chicken jockeys?
No, even though both of them have seen the Minecraft movie, but that never happened. Let's see, what anything else happened? Oh yes, the bike. You'll love this. I went over a bump, and the crossbar where it welds into the seat cracked.
Ouch. And did you come off the bike again, or did the bike just stop at that point?
Effectively, the bike is split in half.
Wow.
Oh. It's not meant to do that.
No. So that bike is now in the repair shop. So I took it and they went, geez, well, what did you do to that? And I went, a pothole, which was true. And also... I had to go to the local charity shop, buy a second-hand bike, which, it's heavy. Oh,
yeah. You are aware, Colin. I feel no. I don't know. I don't quite know how to feel about this. Your emergency bike is basically my normal bike.
Yeah,
in terms of quality.
And
and my emergency bike doesn't try to kill me every time I cycle it, so I'll take that as a win. Actually,
I don't know. It's like it's like steering a cow. This thing. I, listen. It goes fine. I can get it up to a decent enough speed. It's just. I wouldn't want to do any urgent avoiding action on that thing. So I'm being.
I mean, I will
extra.
admit it does. It's not one of these super lightweight titanium things,
Yeah.
etc., etc. So yeah,
Yeah.
but,
So
you know,
basically,
it isn't broken.
my legs are certainly. How shall I put it? Firming up.
Take the win.
Yes. In gaming news, been carrying on with a bit of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I'm still in love with, and I know I'm not even halfway through yet, and still enjoying it. And because Oblivion Remaster was released this week, I thought I dipped back into Skyrim. Only this time I remembered I actually bought Skyrim VR in a sale, and after a little bit of toing and froing, finally got it working, and that's what I'll be playing after I finish Final Fantasy, because I was stood around there going, this is amazing, and I didn't feel sick, which is even better. And the feeling of absolute power when you do 2 flame spells out of your hands, and you just wave your hands about and flames go everywhere. You're kind of there thinking, biotic god.
You're selling me on it now. That does sound pretty good, actually.
Yeah. So and of course, plenty of Elite. I did the Dan. CG. I've been doing power play. I've actually left Colonization alone for the moment. I'll be going back to it when I feel like I'm up to it, because at the moment the thought of more hauling right now, because I'm there building an asteroid base, and I'm just there looking at the totals in the asteroid base going, oh, can I be bothered? And then I've realised I'm 0.8 billion credits away from a fleet carrier. So I've got, should I do cargo hauling or should I try fleet carrier? Oh, too many options.
Or should you wait in case, I don't know, a bigger ship comes out? I mean, anything could happen, right?
Anything could happen, yes. So, yeah, let's just move on to the development news. Right. Well, there's a few things have happened. First of all, let's just say last week, the Cobra Mark V is now available for credits. So no longer do you have to save up all your arcs for a Cobra Mark V. You can go over and buy one for approximately, is it 2 million?
Don't know. Sounds about right.
Yep, 2 million credits. And to tell you the truth, 2 million credits for Cobra Mark V, bargain.
Yeah, it seems a bargain. It's a shame that the guys have skimped on the marketing budget for the Cobra Mark V, though, isn't it?
That's a bit.
Oh, you mean compared to the to the Corsair?
Yeah, compared to the Corsair, the poor Cobra Mark V marketing budget must have been absolutely soaked up by somebody else. They must be planning bigger things elsewhere.
Yeah,
it's good to know they're rolling in it.
Yeah,
they obviously are, aren't they? To tell you the truth, the Cobra Mark V, it just sells itself. It doesn't need a marketing budget. It's that good a small ship, you know. I keep on thinking it's one of those ships where you just have the sailman just patting on it, going, "Yeah, I don't need to say anything, do I? No, we'll take it. Have my money." So yeah.
In truth, I've honestly not used mine at all. Yeah, I really need to. I've got it, but I just haven't. It hasn't had its moment. It will.
Yeah.
I keep hearing so many good things about it.
Oh, it is invaluable. You know, because I'm still doing the on foot engineers runs. I'm still trying to get all access to all the engineers.
I bet it's great for that.
It is. It's absolutely perfect for doing on foot missions or small missions. It's not great for anything like power play or BGS, I think. But for if you're trying to get engineering stuff done, I think it is perfect. So yes, Cobra Mark V, thoroughly 2 thumbs up. And yes, go buy it now. So, a couple of other things. We've got Frontier Unlocked, which is tomorrow, which they'll be talking about what we're going to talk about later and other things, apparently. So, yeah. And so that's from 6 o'clock till 7, British summertime. And two other things. We've got the Pitcon ship tease, which was the look of some humongous landing gear.
Yeah, it's definitely and it does seem to be landing gear that's rotated heavy duty thrusters as well, right?
Yeah.
VTOL thrusters that spin, turn around and become landing gear. It's a monster.
I wonder where I've seen that before.
Yeah, it's ringing bells for me too.
Ah. Okay, let's be honest. Most of the community is expecting this one to be the Panther Clipper.
Indeed, they are.
They are the sort of everybody. As soon as that thing dropped, I went, Panther Clipper. It's got to be the Panther Clipper. And judging by the size of the humans which are next to the landing gear and the Scorpion that's driving next to it, this ship is gonna be big.
Can I clear something up? And I feel like Colin might know the answer to this.
Go on.
This thing of the Panther Clipper not fitting through the mail slot, is that true, or is it? Where does that come from?
That
The
come
Clipper is too big.
that is absolute bollocks.
Right,
It does fit into the docking port, but it's only about a meter clearance space all round. I was never able to dock one manually in Frontier First Encounters. I always had to use the docking computer.
Right. Okay. Okay. So it did fly in First Encounters.
It did fly in. I mean, we have speculated in the past that this thing is that big it can only land on planetary ports or construction sites and things like that, which I think would be funny.
Okay.
But yeah, what you used to do with the Panther Clipper is you used to basically, yeah, we are. You used to basically load that ship up with as much shield generators as you could buy, and then obviously cargo. And if you got attacked by pirates, the shields were that strong. The pirates would smash into your shields like snub fighters into Death Star shields and splatter themselves all over you, and you still get the credit for killing them. So that's how you used to fly that ship in Frontier First Encounters. Ben?
I'm just thinking, yeah, especially with the landing gear being made out of the engines kind of thing. And I'm thinking the Alliance, and I'm thinking the Alliance doesn't have a large fighter like the Federation corvette.
Oh, it does.
So-
It's got the T10 is
Yeah,
Alliance, isn't it?
no, just no. So yeah, but I'm thinking though, like a supersized chieftain, like the Alliance Panzer or something, or I don't know what's the largest British tank?
Challenger?
We've got a Challenger, don't we?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
largest British
Oh,
tank.
I see what you mean. You're looking for tank names that aren't already in the game.
Yeah, I'm thinking tank. Yeah, so yeah, I'm just thinking because obviously all the Alliance fighting ships are named after tanks. So I'm just thinking, I'm thinking alternatives basically to
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
what
How-
we all think it is.
How about
Do you know what? Go on.
I was going to say, how
Go on,
about
Alex.
the Alliance Chonky?
The Alliance Chunky.
Yeah,
The Alliance Big Jobs.
See,
huge chunks.
Much
Much chunks.
What's that chocolate bar? Chunky
Yorkie.
chocolate bar.
The Alliance Yorkie.
Yeah, the Alliance Yorkie. There we go.
Not for girls.
Oh,
Well, that
you
was
said
what the
that, not
Yorkie
me.
advert said. That's Yorkie, not me.
Too chocolatey for girls. I think there's a lot of girls out there who'd argue with that.
Oh.
But what I was going to say was because originally, when I was thinking, but how do they? We have talked in the past about this issue of it not fitting to the mail slot. I'm glad to hear there's not actually too much truth in that possibility. I was thinking, okay, maybe they get round that by calling it something like a Panther Light or a Panther Clipper Mark II, or something to. But if that's not an issue, somebody posted I hadn't even realised this. It was a post on the forum from several years back now, from David Braven, just saying the Panther Clipper is coming. So, I mean, if they're not going to do it, if they're not going to do it now, it'd be ridiculous not to do it now when we all think it's there and they've teased a picture that looks like it. It'd be ludicrous for it not to be the Panther Clipper.
I don't want everyone to get their hopes up and thinking, yeah, we're getting the Panther Clipper at last, and then it's not.
No, we are.
Tonka ship. Chris Mark 4.
I think you'll get your Panther Clipper when you deserve your Panther Clipper, okay? And you're just going to have to be patient and eat your vegetables in the meantime, all right?
The other thing that we have to remember is every time you mention Panther Clipper, it gets pushed
down the
back.
schedule.
Yeah, it goes further back. The more you wish for it. If you just start ignoring Panther Clipper, then you'll get it. But yeah, I kind of like the idea of it being almost too big for the mail slot and too big for the pad, but it kind of scrunching itself up, for a better term, when you deploy the landing gear. So kind of you've got to deploy the landing gear even before you go through the mail slot so that it kind of folds itself up enough to fit through. I like that way of doing it.
That's exactly what happened with Frontier First Encounters. As you approach the mail slot, if you approached the mail slot with the landing gear down, you couldn't get in the mail slot.
Oh, amazing.
You had to get through the mail slot, the docking slot, and then put your landing gear down. In order to
looking at that image, that's what this looks like. Because that image looks like the landing gear will actually take up more room, unless it gets rid of room on top or something.
Yeah, because of the way the engine folds down. Yeah, it makes it a lot chunkier.
A lot more vertical.
Yeah.
I do kind of like. Sorry, carry on, Alec.
I was just going to say that idea that it'll only fit through with the gear up. That's definitely not going to cause problems at Jameson Memorial, right?
I got a sneaking suspicion that only players will be flying the Panther Clipper.
I doubt it, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, we will wait and see what is announced tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it. The reason that everyone says about the Panther Clipper is because other creators have hacked the game and demonstrated the model that was in the game as a development idea. Boo, yes. But it'll be interesting to see what the end result of. I mean, we are assuming it's the Panther Clipper. They might actually surprise us and say it's something else instead. But yeah, everybody's just getting very, very excited about it. And of course, the other thing that development news that happened is Trailblazers Patch 3, which is also coming tomorrow, and we'll go into it in more depth later in the show. So, yes, I'm now going to hand over to Alec for the vast amount of community news.
And now, to the community coroner.
It's a dead game, innit, mate?
Right, with Pitcon to talk about as well, this is going to be a lot, so strap in. And I will rattle through this first bit as quick as I can, because I definitely want to give Pitcon some time. But we'll do that at the end of this first bit. So, from the beginning, yes, first up was the Science Museum Lates event. So I think me and Colin certainly went along, and we spoke about going to the Science Museum and Frontier doing a really interesting talk with two staff members from the Science Museum to sort of use Elite Dangerous as a way to demonstrate and fly around the solar system, while Abby McKinnon and Laura Joy Pietas did a kind of tour of the solar system. Great to see that Frontier have released that. So that is on YouTube. We'll include the link, but you can watch that. It's quite long actually, but it's well worth a watch. It's a recording from the actual night, and it's a really fascinating little tour.
Actually, I was kind of gutted that they didn't go and visit Voyager or something while they were there.
Yeah. I guess they had only a certain amount of time, and they could have done that. Actually, it takes quite a long time to get to Voyager, even with SCO.
Yeah, but they have the SCM drive things.
Yeah. I can't remember how
So-
long it takes.
I'm not sure how
Even
long
so-
it takes. It doesn't take that long with an SCM drive one.
No, but when you're in front of an audience and you're just killing
I
time
know.
with,
I know.
yeah, maybe.
I just think having Voyager in the game is freaking amazing, especially because it's in essentially the right place.
Yeah, it's out there, folks, and much easier to get to with SEO. So if you haven't visited already, then go and take
And
a
it's
look.
even got a nav marker now.
Cool, easy
It,
peasy.
you know, it didn't used to have a nav marker. You know that, Pete. Pete, Alex.
Yeah,
Why am I
did.
calling you
Yeah,
Pete?
no, not like the old days when you had to
Yeah.
search deep space for it. Yeah. Next up, we got contacted by this is the one, isn't it? Yeah, by Commander Aldebaran, and also Eclipse Horizon from the Elite Deep Space Explorers Network, or Eden as they're known. So they wrote in to let us know that they have completed their Exodus expedition. They completed that on the 26th of April 2025. Exodus was Eden Group's second expedition after Gates of Eden last October. And they managed to cover, it's a shorter trip actually, but still managed to cover just under 89,000 light years. They travelled via the Great Annihilator through the Agnart sector, which was the birthplace of the Eden concept, I believe, and then on towards, I love these names, on towards Icebreaker before finally heading to their home in the Arcadian Stream via the first outpost, Wheel in the Sky, then Oceania, and lastly New Eden, where they plan to build a carrier-based bubble of their own to act as a hub for further exploration. They just a little short quote. They said, some of us will be staying at New Eden, some will be returning to the bubble to help establish our colonies there, but the friendships, memories and discoveries will stay with us for a long time. As our squadron motto says, Sic Parvis Magna, which means greatness from small beginnings. And we've got a link to the EDSM page about the expedition, and I think you can get to their Discord from there. But if you're into exploration, they sound like a great group to hook up with. They had a lot of fun doing SRVs and mountain climbs and all sorts of things on the way as well. Next up, another sort of success story. On 21st of April 2025, the Fatherhood managed to reach the California Nebula with their strand of colonization. So a little quote from that. Launching from our home port in Hamaki, we have successfully colonized the heart of the California Nebula after nearly 2 months of unrelenting effort. This achievement is a testament to the indomitable spirit and unity of our community. To all members of the Fatherhood, go forth and continue to colonize the skies. On your journey, be sure to visit Port Midway at Mel 22 Sector XUX C110, or take in the sights at Schwan Terminal in Mel 22 Sector XUX C113, both shining examples of their hard work. And we've got a link to the Fatherhood Wings own website where they talk more about that. But that's a hell of a thing. I wouldn't mind going to see that actually, because I haven't been to any colonization strands that have got out to nebulas yet. So that sounds super cool. Next up is an event coming. It's this coming Friday, actually. It's another one of the sort of pre-Distant Worlds 3 events. So the Orion Colony Initiative are presenting Mike's Peak Hill Climb SRV race. It's an SRV hill climb in Col 69, Sector NIS D40. And it will start at 7 p.m. I'm guessing that's UK time, and Discord being clever and converting for me. So it's from 7 till 8:30 p.m. UK time this Friday, 2nd of May. Starting from the plains, contestants will have to race up to the summit, starting with a very steep incline. Navigational skill will be necessary to navigate the intermediary summits. The jets will not always be your friends. After the race, you'll be able to enjoy a 2-minute aerial jump to experience firsthand the effect of gravity. Best place to probably hook up with that, I've got a link to the... Sorry, what is that?
I like the sound of that.
2 minutes back
Experience
down.
firsthand the effect of gravity. That's one way of describing it.
Yeah. Yeah. 2 minutes, that's quite a long time to be falling. It sounds like they found themselves a nice big mountain. There's an event in the FleetCom Discord, so we'll have a link to that. I can't make it, unfortunately, but what I am going to do, I mentioned this at the head of the show, is I'm going to drop my colonization and bomb out there tomorrow morning and do a do a timed run just to see. I'm just curious to see what sort of time I can get up and take a look at this mountain they've got, but I can't make the live event. Next up was a little thing I've been meaning to mention for a couple of weeks because I saw it pop up and they've done a couple. Ages and ages ago, we shouted out some Canon Science aerodynamic research where they were doing proper in-depth aerodynamic modeling and kind of research into the aerodynamics of all the Elite Dangerous spaceships, which of course are of course mostly terrible. And they've done the Type 9 Heavy, which is kind of an amusing read to find out about the aerodynamic properties of the Type 9 Heavy. And also,
is it just down?
Yeah, probably. I haven't read it. They are really detailed. I mean, they're really sciencey. It's quite funny how sciencey they are. And they've just done the Beluga as well, which apparently, unlike most craft in Elite, is actually aerodynamically friendly and boasts the highest lift-to-drag ratio of any ship seen thus far.
LCU was showing me these at the weekend, and they are absolutely incredible. And it's done by someone that does this kind of research as their day job. So it is incredibly detailed and well worth checking out.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's the same guys that worked out that the Chieftain would just faceplant as soon as it launched, or something like that, wasn't it?
I like the idea of them sort of forgetting to clear the screen on the computers at their work and their boss coming in and going, "What the hell's this that you've been putting through the wind tunnel?"
Red Bull's got that wind tunnel booked. What are you doing here?
Right, we'll rattle through a few videos and then we'll get on to Pitcon. So I watched this today. This is fantastic. It's by Indigo. It's tips every new player needs to know. And he might have already done one of these. But there's some neat stuff in here. There's things like using Super Cruise Assist to arrive at stations quickly, and there's some stuff about I've blanked on it all now, but it's good. It's sort of some slightly advanced level tips that I didn't know, and some neat little tricks and things you can do. So that's called tips every new player needs to know. I watched a lovely Elite Dangerous cinematic this morning by Commander Meek called Falling Asleep Under 1,000 Suns. Really beautiful, and it's got some nice sort of cut scenes of a female commander kind of drifting in space. Not quite sure what happened to her, but this is sort of, I think, kind of memories as she's drifting to her, what seems at least like inevitable death.
I shouldn't be laughing, but
no, I know. But it's lovely. It's very nicely made. And finally, I did just want to put another shout out for the This Is My Elite Dangerous video contest, which is over. But just a comment from Alex Sinclair over at Just About, who said, "Wow, everyone, it's been a pleasure to watch all of these. All 50 prizes and $6,000 awarded. Thanks to everyone who poured their hearts, time, and humour into making these. We're not kidding when we say some of them brought tears to our eyes. We hope to see you all around. Just 07."
That was nice, and the $120 is very much appreciated. It's gone into the bike fund.
Yeah, nice indeed. Mine, actually, I decided. Well, I sort of drank mine at Pitcon. If you want to think of it like that, or maybe it paid for my keyboard. Let's think of it like that.
Awesome.
Speaking of which, Pitcon happened this weekend. I will include links in the show notes to the entire thing was live streamed. So there are two mammoth sort of 7 hour long videos on YouTube. So they're in two parts. I've done a little bit of tagging of those, and I think Burr's going to sort of edit the description and pop that in the description. So it is sort of what's the word, kind of time-stamped, so you can jump to relevant bits of the shows if you want to watch them. I think they will also be editing it down into a much more condensed kind of show reel along with photos and things. So, but if you just want to watch the raw streams, they are there. Before we get into just talking about it generally, I did talk to the Burrs today, and at the last count, the money raised by the 140 people who were there in person on the day was £4,080, which is incredible. And Rini added a nice sort of touch to that to say, put it into perspective. So there was 140 people there this year. In 23, Pitcon 23, 90 people attended and they raised 1,400. So the generosity of people this year has gone through the roof. On which note, let's talk about Pitcon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it was you and Chris that went. So how much alcohol poisoning did the two of you suffer from?
Not too bad. I have notes, and I have that in my notes. I can talk about the science of. We scienced that at ECM last year, and I did some more science this year.
Yeah,
How do you want to do this? I have highlights,
you run it. You run it, and me and Ben will just make jealous comments.
All right, Chris. If you like, shall I run down my highlights and then you can run down yours?
If you run through your highlights, the chances are I've got them too, and I shall chip in.
Cool. I quite carefully, I forgot Psychic wasn't going to be with us, but I quite carefully picked some fairly personal highlights because all the good stuff is just. Well, let's say first, the whole setup was superb. It was just so. When I arrived, within minutes of arriving, Rini grabbed me, saw me, came running across the hotel, grabbed me and said, "Come and look at the room. You've got to come and look at the room." So she took me to the room, and then she made me appreciate it all, and was like, I want to sort of try and convey this, but the Burrs have poured their bloody heart and souls into this thing, not just in the last months, but the entire year. So they were so kind of stressed isn't quite the right word, but they were so desperate for it to be, for what they'd done to be good. And so Rena was like, "Is it good? Is it good? Please tell me it's good. Is it good?" It was incredible. Just all the like the signage and the dressing and there were like literally about 1,000 biscuits. There were bowls everywhere full of biscuits, and there were extraordinary tables of raffle prizes and like a really nice setup with the screens and yeah, like with us, they had a photo. They had a huge floor-to-ceiling backdrop picture of an Elite Dangerous Galaxy with 2 life-size Odyssey Commander cutouts for like as a selfie area. Oh, they'd done so much work. Everyone got a goodie bag which was full of amazing things like posters that had been handcrafted by Beetle Jude, and it was amazing, wasn't it, Chris? Just that kind of overall
the overall setup
wildness of how
was ridiculously impressive. Like you say, everything really well branded up and really finely polished, I've got to say. I went through on the Friday night to help out with a couple of little bits, and when I went into the room I was like, wow, just the setup that they had was really impressive. You'll see some of the pictures that are going up on the screen now. The floor to ceiling backdrop was essentially the view that I've normally got in the Lave station bar going out the window. So you could pose as if you were in the station bar with all your fellow commanders and stuff with the cutouts, which I thought was a really neat way of doing it. Also, the layout of the hotel itself was pretty good in a way, because it had plenty sort of breakout areas where people could sit and have a little look around and meet up in between the panels and sort of break out from the different spaces. It's always a bit of a challenge.
It was roomy, and there wasn't much sort of walking down long corridors. It was all just kind of there. It was
it was all sort of contained, and we were astoundingly lucky to have actual good UK weather as well, which meant that you could take a break outside, get fresh air, get a bit of sun on your face, and then dive back into the room again when there were things going on.
Good, but not too good.
Yeah, and numbers.
I'm thinking of that LaveCon.
Yeah, numbers wise, it didn't feel sort of too overfacing. It didn't feel like you were standing on top of someone the entire time, which it can be sometimes at these events when it's sort of really, really busy. You can feel that you're always in someone's way.
So yeah, brilliantly done. So if Burr and Rini are listening to this, I'm sure they are, and you still have concerns or doubts about whether it was good enough. Yes, it was fucking amazing, guys. Seriously.
Grumble, lucky bone.
So yeah, some little personal highlights then. So funnily enough, the journey up on Friday for me was lovely because I had to. I picked up Reese Lang, who'd flown over from the States. So he ended up staying in Watford on my recommendation and went to Harry Potter's studios and had a good sort of time on Thursday. So I picked him up, and then we drove to Luton Airport and picked up Thargos from Lily Dangerous. And I shared a really enjoyable car journey from there up to Nottingham with those two. Yeah, it was a genuine pleasure. I loved. We just talked and talked, and it was, and they're both super people. So that was a real pleasure. And then, as aforementioned, getting there and Rini grabbing me and showing the room, which was amazing. And then always my favourite bit, well, one of my favourite bits is just Friday afternoon as you sort of having drinks and people keep turning up. If anyone's sort of been to these conventions and has only ever been for the day itself and maybe stayed overnight, I do recommend staying the Friday night because it's very chilled Friday afternoon.
The thing is, even
You sort
people
of
that
sit-
live ridiculously close by pop in on the Friday night to enjoy the Friday. That was the first night where we played Werewolf with Psykit. When I met Psykit and Crispy Tater Tot and friends at the train station, Psykit already had in her bag the cards for Werewolf and said, "We are playing Werewolf tonight."
Yeah, I've got Werewolf in my highlights too.
So that first night, we ended up sitting in the corner of the barn. Started out with a little village, and it grew into quite a town-sized event by the final night.
Brilliant. I want to also just talk about that Friday afternoon. Razafrag, who I've met before, who's the ED Copilot developer, was there. He was in very high demand because so many people wanted to talk to him. I wanted to mention Raz specifically, though, because straight after Pitcon, he went on holiday with his wife. Unfortunately, they've gone to Portugal. So he's having a rather difficult start to his holiday, particularly because he's desperately trying to support ED Copilot at the same time. The fool.
Have you heard anything from him since the power?
He's well the yes. So they're wearing the clothes that they flew in because there's no access to the luggage. They had to hitchhike to the hotel where they managed to rustle up a sandwich for them. And last time I spoke, he was desperately trying to figure out how the hell they were going to get their luggage because they're supposed to be on a train to somewhere else in 3 days' time, and they're wearing their flight clothes at the moment.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it'll be fine. But yes, best wishes, Razafrag, if you're listening. I hope you get where you're wanting to go. It's lovely to see you at Pitcon. Onwards, I had right. This is the drinking experiment, the drinking science. So last year's ECM, some may recall that myself and I think Chris and Psyche to some extent experimented with alternating drinks with this is alternating our alcoholic beverages with water.
Right.
And I have to say it was effective. It was an excellent way not to feel terrible on Saturday. This time, my experiment was to eat, which I don't normally do. So Ninja Space Unicorn and her group, who are definitely not a cult, they're totally a cult, invited me and Reese Lang and Fargos to have an evening meal with them at the restaurant, which was great fun. I often end up talking to the same people at these things, and it was really nice to sit with a whole group of people I'd never spoken to before. So that was lovely, and they were all super. And I got extremely drunk both before and after and during that meal. And felt terrible on Saturday. So water effective, eating far less effective. Probably not drinking alcohol is the best of all three, but maybe next time. And then Saturday, of course, and just friends turning up, which was lovely. Lots of my buckyball pals and sort of time trial racing pals turned up, so there was a nice gang of us. And we went to a nice pub in the evening as well. So we had lots of racing talk, Strictly Come Burring, I had on my list, Chris.
Yes, of course.
How was Strictly Come Burring for you?
Strictly Come Burring, I was slightly worried throughout the day about coming up on Strictly Come Burring because I was like, I don't know how harsh a judge I'm going to be, and I have the feeling I was far too harsh. In hindsight and looking back at the feed, I think I was far too harsh. Strictly Come Burring. We got approached a few months ago now when the Burrs said, what you need to do was they asked, would you mind judging a Burr competition? People impersonating Commander Burr, and the three of us went, yeah, sure. And then when it came to the event, they had proper paddles, judging paddles for us, branded with the sort of
Branded
elite Burr logo
paddles
on the back. Yeah, proper professional paddles and everything. So we sat down and got to take part in that, judging some impressive entries. I've got to say it's worth a watch. And when Alex says there's going to be a highlight reel later, there was roving cameras from some film students who were filming most of the event. So as well as the sort of the wide shot and the slightly closer shot from the back of the room, there was also these roving cameras that were filming through the day. So there'll be a really impressive highlight reel, I imagine, coming out from the event, including...
So let's not
Strictly
put any
Come
more
Burring.
pressure on the Burrs. You know, whatever you can knock out would be fine, honestly.
Yeah, whatever leaks onto the internet,
yourself.
we're happy with. But yeah,
It doesn't have to be good enough to show at Cannes.
No. We've seen how cinematic Rini can be. We know this is possible, right? We know the art of the possible. But yeah, it's Strictly Come Burring. Some impressive entries from ARF, from LCU, from Pete Witherspoon and others. It was
One of my absolute highlights. Was LCU, who seriously cracks me up when he's kind of in character. LCU No Full Light one. He came up, did this really bold impression, and then just strode over to the prize table and took the prize like it belonged to him already. It was fantastic. Thank you. I will take this. And I also have funnily enough, I got another LCU highlight just mentioned here about during the raffle. So one of the raffles, there were some amazing prizes in the raffle. The star prize was a really nice Noble gaming chair that was Pitcon branded. So it was a sort of unique, I was going to say one of a kind, but I believe it's actually two of a kind. Pitcon branded Noble gaming chair. And you know all the raffle tickets have numbers, colours as well as numbers. So Arthur is calling out the star prize, and Arthur just says the word orange, and right from the back you can hear no from LCU. It was a very funny moment that you can actually hear on the stream. Did you win anything, Chris?
I won elite battle cards. Is what I won. I won a set of elite battle cards, which was a great prize. Though I was
cards is awesome.
I was rivaled by fellow tech Epaphras, who
should we out him?
Yeah, I think we should out him for all his amazing prizes. Definitely.
Do it.
Were people shouting fix? Because I've seen the photo and I'm there going, you lucky bastard.
So yes, the aforementioned Noble branded Pitcon branded gaming chair went to our very own packet of crisps.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
He got that. He also won the Elite on the Commodore, which has all of its accompanying parts in the box. So
including the lens lock.
All the bits and pieces are in the box. Apparently, everything is in the box.
Oh.
So he's got the full Commodore set that he won in the raffle as well, which was pretty impressive for his raffle tickets.
Doing the whole thing to get a Commodore up and running again, isn't it?
Well, I think that's what he said. He wants to get a Commodore.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you get that, you need to go whole hog, don't you?
You can get these mini Commodore 64s now.
Wasn't there a new Commodore wasn't there a new Commodore that's basically form of Linux with a Commodore emulator and various other bits and bats like that? But it looks like Commodore as well.
Yeah, there's a mini C64 and a mini A500. Both of them do that.
Amazing. I've got three little other. I've sort of skipped over the big things, and Chris maybe wants to talk about Frontier's presentation because I was trying to do these little personal, genuine highlights. When me and all the sort of racing buds came back from the pub, Alzo had just started his music set, which was and so I sort of joined. Burr and Rini were at the back, I think, finally relaxing. I think they were finally in a state of, I think we've actually pulled this off, because this was quite late, and there was nothing left apart from the music sets from Alzo and Takoso. So they were finally relaxing at the back, and Alzo's music set is quite powerful, and it was all set to Burr and Rini's incredible cinematography. And it was quite emotional because it was all based around the Jameson Kiddo, logs. The sort of vocals of those were woven into Alzo's incredible guitar music. So Burr and Rini totally losing it at the back. But that was a particular highlight. That sounds cruel, but it was lovely to see them, I think, finally appreciate what they'd done and let it rather overwhelm them. And the whole music set was fantastic. Alzo did a solo set, and then Takoso did a whole load of. He's got so many songs, and he's just such a good entertainer. Highlight for me was the Buckyball song, but he did loads of great songs. And then all three. So then Alzo and Takoso, Tom, and Tom's daughter Helly came on to do vocals and did a final kind of incredible set of music that. Accompanied by there were glow sticks, of course. The Burrs did everything, so they also had glow sticks for the evening concert. So there was a glow stick parade at one point to the music, which was great. And then my final thing of the night was just came out of all that, and Psychic was just 100% in her element, masterminding a huge game of werewolf in the bar. It felt like there was about 20 of us playing werewolf late into the evening, and Psychic was magnificent in running that.
It just grows so naturally because we start with like a tiny little set, and then a few people will sort of sit at the side drinking beer, wondering what's going on. And then the next
me
round,
because I hadn't got a clue what.
the next round, it's like someone will come over and go, can I? It's like, join the village, and you come and just adding and building up. I think the maximum Psychic said you could get up to was about 34 players in it. I think by the time we finished,
we got a way to go then.
Yeah, we got a good portion of the way there. We got up to I think 16 on the final night, which is one of the pictures when it comes round is all of us doing a big howl as it comes round. So yeah, there we go. 16 on the Saturday night was the total that we got, and just a mixture of all sorts of different people that were visiting the event. People would sort of sit on the side and then take part, and yeah, just a lot of fun and a bit of improvisation from everyone, and making up very silly town names upon the Thames by the sea. Throughout the event, one of the ones I was going to mention is that then leaked into the Galnet news, which was one of the first panels of the day. At Pitcon was Galnet News Digest with Pete and Jude doing Galnet Live, which I always love seeing. And the fact that they were nice and early at this event meant that after that they were done and they could relax, the pair of them. So, which is why I think Pete was slightly late to the Strictly Come Burring competition later on in the day. But yeah, what else was it you were going to cover, Alex? Sorry.
I was just looking at the photos that were cycling to remind me. So my final highlight, funnily enough, was actually Sunday morning when I realised I hadn't managed to capture a selfie with Burr and Rini. I'm terrible at photos. I actually brought my SLR and didn't take a single photo. I just get so stuck into talking to people I completely forget. But yeah, I thought, okay, I can finally get it's a nice quiet moment. People are leaving. It's all calm. I'll just get a nice personal selfie with Burr and Rini, just to say thank you. So we're posing, and I can hear much sniggering, and well, you'll see it if it cycles around. But a complete bunch of lunatics behind us are doing the most outrageous case of photo bombing I've ever seen. And that photo is my absolute highlight of the weekend. I adore that photo because there's something of the spirit of the whole weekend in that.
Yeah,
yes,
Burr and Rini downstairs on the Sunday, relaxing finally and getting a sit down. I think was the thing when I spoke to Rini down in reception. She was like, "I'm not getting up from the chair. Everyone's just going to have to carry me around in the chair for the rest of the day." I think they were both absolutely knackered after the event. The panels that we had. So Galnet News was the first sort of live event of the day. They did an absolutely brilliant job. Bringing some of the fun of the event onto there and covering the latest news, and we've got them obviously after the programme later on. We had a live Witch Space News, everyone getting to wave along to the intro of that, and see Burr attempt a Witch Space News live, which was excellent there. The people from Starship Simulator were there throughout the day.
That was nice.
Yes. And their talk was really interesting. It was about their galaxy creation, not dissimilar to Elites in many ways, like how they segment it, but lots of really technical stuff about dealing with running out of floating point accuracy and procedural generation and making sure that individual sectors of the galaxy are separate from others. They called it the Thanos problem, but avoiding the Thanos problem, which is in a procedural generated galaxy, you change one tiny thing and everything changes. So they've kind of deliberately compartmentalized their galaxy with their own random seeds so that won't happen. They can change one sector of the galaxy without changing all the others and things like that. It's cool. It's really good technical stuff. It's fascinating.
Yeah, it was a really interesting panel and sort of showing how the ship moves through each of these sort of cells that they've created within the game in order for it to move. And in the corner of the room, they were doing live game development. So they were sitting actually working in the corner of the room. So it felt like a developer zoo. You could stand behind them and watch as they were developing the game in front of you. So they had a couple of demos.
He does a lot of his live streams like that, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, so you were just sort of watching it over the corner as he pushed. I don't know how much he managed to get done with the rest of us distracting them, but yeah, it was quite fun to watch that all getting put together.
Oh, that would wind me up so much. I'm bad enough with pair programming or trying to type a query with other people watching. I couldn't handle it if someone was looking at my shoulder while I'm coding.
I'm so glad it's not just me whose brain just turns to mush with somebody else over my shoulder.
Yeah.
We also had, after that, the developer panel that we were waiting for. It was the Elite panel. Where we had a look at how new ships are brought to market in Elite Dangerous and all the work that goes on from concept all the way up to eventual delivery. And even though I think it was on for about, was it an hour? I think it was about an hour that they spoke for, and even in that hour there was still a huge amount that they had to cut for time. Things like the sound design and elements like that they weren't able to cover. But really interesting to sort of hear how they go from, I think it was mainly the Mandalay that I think they focused on as part of the demonstration. But it was sort of, what was the original brief that was given to the team? Where did their inspirations come from? And how did they sort of build it out into being the ship that it now is in game? Even a little admittance in there that it is very powerful, and maybe he didn't dial down some of the tiles that he might have done.
I can't remember who it was. It was Chris and somebody else, but he was sort of saying, I turn all the dials up to make it more fun, and then the realism guy will step in and sort of say, I think we better turn that down and that down. And we didn't turn any of the dials down, and you got the Mandalay.
Yeah. Just next time, turn the hull to weak. But never mind.
So like one of
It's
the
out now.
so one of the shots that's coming round is essentially a multicolored mandalay. That is what it looks like. But that was one of the demonstrations of how they look at the ship and go, right, how would this actually be constructed if it was in the real world? How many panels would there be? So that sort of multicolored rainbow mandalay that was on screen was sort of displaying that. The bit that made us all go, ooh, when we saw it was them displaying how they can move things like the ambient lights around on the ship. So you know how there's kind of the hull running lights and the landing lights.
Yes.
And they demonstrated how on the model they can just sort of drag and drop them wherever they want. They can also dial the colours around. They can do full RGB on them and have disco lights on the mandalay. At which point we sort of called out and went, oh, we can have pink lights. I think we've now given them a monetization idea. So apologies, everyone. It's probably going to be arcs, and I think someone shouted 6,000 arcs. So there you go. Sorry, everyone. We gave them a monetization idea.
So I'm sorry, Chris is admitting to giving them a monetization idea.
I'm going to blame Psychic because it was pink lights. Okay.
The views of Chris do not necessarily represent Lave Radio, etc., etc.
I do not represent the community at all. They may not want to pay 6,000 arcs.
There was another part of Frontier's presentation that is probably lost on people that didn't attend. But so all day, so the Frontier guys were there quite early. There was a lot of them actually. There was about 10 or so at least of them turned up. And I forget who, but one of them had this sort of silver attaché case. You know, those kind of cases that you carry guitar equipment in. They're metal and square, and apparently they desperately wanted to have it handcuffed to him, but couldn't find the handcuffs. So he was walking around with this case all day. There was much sort of rumor going on that it had a model of the Panther Clipper inside it or something. And then at the end of the presentation, they make this huge fuss of getting this case and getting someone else to come on with a key, and Arthur's holding it. And I think somebody commented, sort of jokingly, that we wouldn't believe how much giggling had been going on at Frontier Towers, like arranging all this business as they described it. And then they opened the case, and there was an envelope in the case saying, you are allowed to open this envelope, and then they opened the envelope, and there was a smaller envelope that was, you know, if Zach says it's all right, then you may proceed to the third level of the envelope. And then the final bit of paper was literally just sort of press play on the screen, at which point they showed the stupid sneak peek image that we've got. So not a Panther Clipper model inside the case at all.
They dragged that out better than a husky slag dog team.
They really did.
It was bloody hell. The one thing was on the feed. I was watching the feed at the time, and you couldn't really see much. Everyone seemed to be in silhouette at that point.
Yeah, there was a couple of things on the light. I mean, the lighting was really cool when you were there. We had they had RGB lighting in the ceiling of the room, which meant, I mean, it was great for the concert as well. But they could make it very atmospheric. I believe the main camera at the back, there was one tiny bit of stress. Like everything that Bo and Rini had tried to do had basically gone perfectly, except I think there was an issue with the lenses on the streaming cameras weren't the right lenses or something. So that may explain to some extent why it was darker than.
I thought it was security because they were going to show stuff. Because when LaveCon happened, we had to cut the feed for certain things.
Yeah, there was a bit of that. There's a bit of feed cutting.
Yeah. Bit of feed cutting to stop the BBC suing us, or Noel Edmonds specifically.
I watched it back. I've watched pretty much most of the stream back. I kind of fast forwarded it because I was doing some timestamps on it. But I think everything's there. I don't think you missed anything if you watched the stream.
No, it was all included. So basically, Burr would put his sort of thumbs aloft to get the stream unmuted, and then it would cut in. So all the panels are there, and like I say, there was additional footage that was filmed that'll be a little bit clearer for people to get to see at some point as well. So lots of bits and pieces out there for you. But you didn't miss any of the panels. What you missed is all the stuff around the panels, and of course, all of us howling like wolves outside of the panels.
I see.
I believe, I haven't got the details, maybe we'll touch on it next week, but I believe if anyone's thinking of coming to Psychic's lovely meetup in Bristol in July, I think there's a very high chance that we will be playing Werewolf in the beer garden later that night.
And probably scaring half the locals.
That sounds like a them problem.
If we're wrapping up, I did in the kind of show notes for Community Corner just have a message from Takoso that I was going to shout out as well, which is just if anyone came to or watched Pitcon and liked Helly or my set, then all the music is available on his Bandcamp for the price of an email address, or you can gift whatever you like. Shameless self-plug, but 3 albums are on there, and there's a new one coming soon, and that's takoso.bandcamp.com. The first album, or is it the second album, the Galactico 7 album, I kind of had that on the car. I didn't actually play it in the car because I was too busy chatting to my lovely passengers, but that is a fantastic album. It's got like 30 songs on it. It's incredible, and there's apparently there's 30 on the next one too, so a very hard-working chap, Takoso.
Certainly worth dropping of a few pennies, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So if you have a community event taking place soon and you'd like us to shout about it across the airwaves, tweet the crew at Lave Radio or email us at info@laveradio.com, or Alec will hunt you down. Right, so let's move back into the real world for the in-game events. What has been happening this week? Well, last Thursday they announced that the Cobra Mark IV has entered full production. So as you can imagine, this is to celebrate the fact that the Cobra Mark IV then enters production. I think I just got a whole load of people excited for the wrong reason. Yeah, the Cobra Mark V enters production. So yeah, get your free Cobra Mark V now. And of course, on Friday, we finally had the CG result, which they announced that secure resources sites declared in Dahan, or Dan, as you lot were all calling it.
Dan!
Is it just me, or as soon as you lot were doing that, I was thinking of the picture of the gopher or the prairie dog who was going, Dan, Dan, Dan. Oh, it's not Dan, it's Trevor. Trevor.
No, I firmly had Alan Partridge in my mind. Treading on a spike.
So yeah, okay. So power play rankings this week. In 12th place, we have Corval going up 5 systems. It has been 2 weeks, so these are going to be big numbers. It's still in 11th place is Winters, and she's gone up 3 systems to 526. We have a movement. There's been a big movement. Petraeus has dropped down to 10, having lost 1 system over the last 2 weeks, and he's now down to 635. Taking his place at the number 9 spot, we have Delaney, who's gone up 9 systems to 640. At 8, pulling away even further, is Kane, who's up at 667. Ooh, one off. But she gained 15 systems over the last 2 weeks. And Antal gains 6, bringing his total up to 723. Archer retains his 6th place by gaining 11 systems and going up to 766. And for 5th place, Lee Yong-Ru, as usual, but winner of the count here, because plus 18 systems, he's now up to 860. Grom has gained 12, up to 1041. All hail the Emperor Rissa at number 3. She has gone up 14 systems to 1,366. And then Aisling Deval is catching up with Mahon by 1 system because she's gained 11 to 1,436. However, Mahan is still miles out ahead at number 1 with 1,461, gaining 10 systems. Of course, the winner at the moment is my Emperor Arissa, who's with 108 strongholds, but that is your power play standings this week. Yeah, I got a bit of a shock because I was thinking, God, everybody's gone up a lot this week, but of course it's been 2 weeks. we missed we missed it out, but I finally got my movement in. We've had a place change.
We did, yeah. I think we had one in your absence, to be fair, but
yes, I was gutted about that.
You missed the first one. You missed the first movement.
Oh no, Kane's actually the first movement was when Archer was taking over Antal. That was the first movement.
Okay.
Yeah, Archer actually raced up the board, but it's the first one we've had in a couple of months. So yeah, although I must admit, this is where power play. I'm understanding how how Chris Mark V was complaining about I don't want certain powers to be in my systems. Well, in my colonization system, Mahan's moved in and he's exploiting my system, and I hate it.
Oh, interesting.
I know.
I don't think power play's reached mine yet.
No, it's something that I was there thinking, I don't want you here. Go away. And then thinking, the only thing I could do for this was to join another power to kick him out. But I'm there thinking, but that means it's.
Can you at least limit his hollow ads and?
No, because it doesn't have any effect unless you're done to another power, doesn't it?
No, I suppose not.
I know, and all you do is get your rating down in the dumps. Because
I tell you what you could do. And they can't stop you. You could at least pay ARCs to name everything abusive, like you could be anti-Archer in the naming of all your stations.
Anti-Mahan. Mahan sucks big.
Yeah.
No. Sucks big time.
Mahan sucks Doc.
Yes.
That sounds like it'd be written on the bathroom stall rather than a station name, but fair dues.
Yeah, funny you should mention that. Like, we'll be touching on that later, I think. Right, the store alert for this week.
Store alert!
You'll have to excuse my ignorance. Did we cover the Easter egg bobblehead last time?
No, I'm not sure.
Well, there is now an Elite logo Easter egg bobblehead, which is available on the store for the moment for 8,400 ARCs. It's giving me Alien vibes, actually, to be honest.
It's just gonna hatch.
Yeah, it's gonna hatch and hug your face. Maybe that's what they're going to need you to have is a face hugger kind of pilot. That's the new helmet, the face hugger helmet. Yeah, so there is that. If I do believe that's on a time release, so I don't know how long that's going to be there. However, I did check out the sale. If you click on the Elite Game Store sale, and it's massive.
I've been scrolling since we started this section, and I'm still going. It's
a lot of Cobra Mark 5 stuff, Mandalay stuff. There's a Python Mark 2 chromed in there. It's a phenomenal lot, and
all the Stygian paint jobs are all on sale. They're really cool.
Yeah,
there's a chromed flight suit, so you can make yourself look like Terminator 2.
Yeah, it looks to be approximately either 30 to 40% off most of these things. So yeah, a lot of ship kits, a lot of skins. There's basically too many for us to go through right now. Yeah, if you have some spare arcs from, say, I don't know, maybe just about was kind to you, you can get a whole load of skins, packs, suits, the works. So yeah, I'll leave that with you all.
Yeah,
because
it's not just the bargain bin ones either. There's all
there's some
sorts
good
of
stuff
really
in
good
there.
ones. The chrome, the mirrored chrome mambas and things are all in here. Really good stuff.
yeah, galvanized cobalt for the scorpion and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, if you have some spare arcs left, now's a good time to arc it up.
Also worth saying, you've only got until the 6th of May for the lantern light bobblehead. If you want your own very spinny lantern light, you've got until the end of this week at time of recording.
As much as I'd love it, I just know that it would probably get my eye twitching too much.
I think it'd be too distracting in the corner of my dash. I really do. After seeing Ben with like 1 million of them on his dashboard last week or a couple of weeks ago.
I think Colin might have been away when we spoke about it, but yeah, I found it, much like the actual station itself, almost immediately intensely irritating.
Oh dear. Right. So what we'll do is we will come back with an ad break, and afterwards there is Trailblazers Update 3 to discuss.
From the makers of the MB5 shaving drone comes the latest in personal grooming technology. Here at Saracen, we've heard your request loud and clear. You want something new. Applying all the recent technological advances. Introducing the Panther Clipper. Gone are the days of your unruly body hair making you look like a bedraggled alpaca. The Panther Clipper is the biggest, baddest shaver credits can buy. A shave so smooth it'll shave 10 milliseconds off your buckyball time. The new Panther Clipper from Saracen. It's exactly what you've been asking for.
Oi, how you doing, my brother? So you run some data and you left your little sidey and you're starting to think about maybe a ship that can punch a little bit harder. Well, the Killback, the one with the little flappy wings, is just what the doctor ordered. It is multi-crew enabled and is the smallest ship with a fighter bay, so you can point and they will do your bidding. Ha! It's got 3 utility mounts, 2 small and 2 medium hard points, plus a whole batch of compartments. So if you want a bit of fun, grab a Killback, my son.
Have you found yourself in a spot of bother with those Xenos messing up your backyard?
Oh, why are there Fargoids in my system?
Can't leave the house without fear of a hyperdiction?
Can't even get to work. Not that they've noticed, because everything's on fire there too.
Sick of the amount of time it takes to scrub the caustic damage from those hard-to-reach places?
Oh, fuck, oh, it fucking hurts, fuck, ow.
Introducing Dr. Pope's Caustic Burn Cream. Apply a few drops to the affected area and feel the euphoria of instant relief. After that, just wash the burn away.
It's like it was meant to happen.
It's so good, you can even use it on your ships.
Thanks, Dr. Pope. My ship smells brand new.
Dr. Pope's Caustic Burn Cream, the miracle that can happen. Side effects may include dizziness, constipation, an itching sensation, worship of an obviously aggressive false deity, death, and loss of sense of smell. Should you experience any of these symptoms, please contact your doctor immediately. Not Dr. Pope though, he's busy.
Have you been affected by Azimuth Biotech's provocation of the Fargoid menace? At Turner & Fig, we're ready to pursue claims against Azimuth Biotech as part of our class action lawsuit.
My son has started worshipping the Thargoid god and keeps bringing home human sacrifices. Am I entitled to compensation?
Yes, you are.
My daughter was aboard the Bright Sentinel. I keep calling Azimuth to find out where she is, but I always get their voicemail.
Thank you for calling Azimuth Biotech. We're sorry, but salvation.
Is not available. Please leave your message after the tone.
Am I entitled to compensation?
Yes, you are.
I was selling escape pod occupants into slavery, but now Thargoids keep taking the escape pods instead. Am I entitled to compensation?
I suppose so. Thousands, maybe millions of people are due compensation from Azimuth Biotech. Contact us today. Turner and Fig, cleaning out Azimuth Biotech for a huge portion of your compensation.
And welcome back. Well, tomorrow, Trailblazers Update 3 arrives. And yes, it does mean that the servers will be down between... actually, it starts at 5 a.m. and we should have it back at 1 p.m.
I've only just clocked that. There's no point in me getting up early tomorrow, is there?
No, you can have a
Get a
lion.
lion.
I'm glad I read that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's and I must admit we've been going through the show notes, the patch notes, and it does seem to be quite a big one. The first two that I think we should all just highlight and say, fingers crossed, is the fact that it says that it's fixed the stuttering.
Yes, come
on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. That's the one we've got our fingers crossed for. I think because it's that's. I must admit, I was just flying on Sunday, and it was getting really annoying, and I thought, what the heck's wrong with this? Oh, it's 5 past, or it's 15 quarter past. So yeah, that's one that I'm hopefully managing to fix. Looking forward to them fixing. The other one was quite an interesting one, which I thought was that they fixed the Corsair mass lock factor, which if you've been flying the Corsair a lot, you're basically jump locked by a Sidewinder.
Whoops.
Yes. So they've changed it from 7 to 17. So normally, whatever the mass lock factor is, each ship has this factor, and if it's lower than the other ship, then you've got to get away from them, and that's jumped it up to proper midship, sort of medium ship levels. But it was quite funny because I was stuck in a compromised nav beacon and trying to jump away, and I was mass locked by one Sidewinder and one Adder, and just the embarrassment.
Mass locked by an adder.
I know. It's just so wrong on so many levels. So yeah, but there is one of the things that they've also announced is there are extensive changes coming to Power Play. Right. Does anybody want to? I mean, first of all, before we carry on with this, I mean, what do you think about the functionality that's coming our way? I mean, you've seen, most of you, I think, have seen this list, and it's a big chunky list. Is there anything in there that you think, oh yes, that will do me?
I've got two little separate, things in the bug notes before the main features. I'm really glad to see that they fixed. What's the wording of it? Fixed incorrect images being shown in the facility construction selector. Because a lot of my colonization has been quite visual. I'm not that fussed about the economy, to be honest, which is probably a terrible thing to say in light of all the work they've been putting on it. But I've had a couple where I've picked a base purely on the image because I've got a. Okay, I mean, everyone knows it already. I've got a time trial race in mind. I've thought, oh, I'll put that there, and then people can drive around that place that way, and then it's turned out not to be the thing that was shown in the image. So I've wasted all my effort building things that turned out not to be. I also like that they've got as a known issue, which gives me hope that it will get fixed in some way. I mentioned on the show last time that I have a colonization construction platform which flies away from me at 450 meters per second, so I can't deliver anything to it. So yes, I'm hoping. I'm hopeful that might get fixed eventually.
Yeah, that is quite a nasty one. So yeah. Um, what about? All right. Well, first of all, we'll break it down into three sections because of what they're doing. They've gone and changed. It made extensive changes to power play, plus also they've documented and told us exactly how the economy works with where you place stations or where you play ports. How do you get the markets for your system that you want?
For colonization.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll just quickly touch on the power play stuff. Just get that out of the way because it seems that they want us to fight more, which means that all offensive actions. So if you're taking an unoccupied system or undermining an enemy system, etc., you get a 5% bonus for merits, which that means extra influence. You'll gain extra influence over the system that you're attacking, if you like. However, if you're reinforcing a system, which is effectively defending a system, it's gonna be a third more difficult because they're taking away 35% of your merits. So to put it this way, if you are attacking a system, or rather trying to undermine someone else's system and they were trying to defend it, you would have a 40% advantage by attacking that system. The defenders would have to work 40% harder than the attackers are to actually just keep things level. Which, it's quite a extensive change, that, and will hopefully mean that more systems start interchanging. Because one of the things that I've noticed with power play at the moment is that because of colonization, the big powers who have got all these new systems available to them are moving out, while the smaller powers are basically hemmed in by the bigger powers and can't get anywhere. So yeah, that's going to be interesting.
I like the sound of it. I mean, it does sound, on the face of it, like things could be quite a lot more dynamic. If it's.
I'm hoping so, because like we've just seen with the power play rankings don't move that much, and I was hoping for a lot more movement by now. But yeah, at least we've had some.
Yeah, we'll see. Quite a bold.
Yeah.
Change.
Now, this is the first in a number of planned changes which are intended to encourage and reward offensive actions within power play, and they're going to monitor it for feedback and impact and adjust accordingly. So for all we know, they might think, oh, well, our offensive actions aren't big enough, so let's give them another 35%.
Wait to be more offensive.
I find it, when I read about sort of a change as dramatic as that, I find it slightly ironic that colonization is in beta, but power play isn't. This seems like
it kind of feels like they both are, really, but yeah.
Yeah, it does, doesn't
it? The other thing to note is that a while ago they cancelled doing escape pods across all systems. They just said no, nobody can gain merits for handing in escape pods anymore. So what's happened is they've now decided that escape pods don't count at all unless you actually get them in your weekly, and they're being replaced by different activities. So as far as Emperor Eris is concerned, collecting escape pods doesn't count, but selling commodities for a large profit does. And they've gone through and done a whole load of replacement of the escape pod activities with something else. Obviously, Aisling and Kane, who had the most number of activities which related to escape pods, those have now been sorted. So I hate to say this, that actually means that Aisling and Kane are going to probably get boosts in future power play cycles, because that's going to be good.
What was the problem with escape pods? I mean, it's clearly a big problem that they basically decided to completely phase out use of escape pods. What's the issue?
They're too popular.
Too easy to get hold of?
Oh, so easy to get hold of.
Okay.
And I must admit, I think I got the first 5-6 levels of my power play within a night just doing escape pods.
Okay.
So yeah, it was. So they've gone and rebalanced exobiology and cartographics for merit rewards. So you're going to have also increases there, and yes, they've also said power play to Galaxy data transfer between servers and client. Now I'm assuming that this might have something to do with the fixing the stutter.
Maybe,
So
yeah,
on and
because
so
it
forth.
did come in with power play. It got significantly worse with
Yeah.
colonization, but yeah, it was related. So yeah, maybe.
One of the reasons they've said this is that the power play system local ethos activities are now server driven, allowing for more dynamic changes, which, yeah, so there's going to be a lot more processing done on the back end, I think. So, I mean, overall, that in itself, if that was just coming in this update, I would be incredibly happy.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, it's huge. Yeah.
And it also reassures me that they haven't given up on power play, because I thought that at this point that they'd said, right, okay, we're now working on something else, because it used to be with some of the older releases, it used to get major release, bug fixes for maybe 2 or 3 patches, and then that was it. That feature was done, and however it was at that point, that's how they left it, and they left it for years. It does seem that now they've changed their mind here, and they're still refining certain tasks a lot later on, and I'm very relieved to see that. Yeah, but the biggie is the changes that they're making to colonization, because we were all lost about how the economy actually, or how to get the right kind of markets in the system, in your system. And yeah, they have gone and made extensive changes to how that system works.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I almost wonder from reading these patch notes, because like whether the whole beta tag on colonization, whether kind of part of the reason for that beta was that they honestly hadn't quite worked out how to do this stuff.
Yeah.
And only by seeing the numbers, it's almost like, yeah, this is quite a sophisticated system they're talking about here, about linking different systems and weak links and strong links, and
yeah,
that sounds like it's all completely new. It's the sort of thing you would design into the game way back, and then you'd have numbers that you would tweak. But this isn't tweaking. This is like adding a whole layer of mechanics that
yeah,
seemed like they didn't exist. Like maybe they didn't know what to do until they saw us play with it, and then figured out how to manage it.
I did get the impression that it was what we had was really a placeholder. And that it did seem like, okay, that works there, but that doesn't seem. Yeah, there was a lot of things that didn't seem to join the dots, if you like. And I was there thinking, surely they can't have just left it like this. Surely this is a placeholder, and there might be something coming. And this is probably the reason why they called it a beta, because they've got the UI and the gameplay to shift and create the facilities, but how the facilities worked afterwards, I don't think they got that far at that point. But
I suppose one of the only shames, I suppose, is we don't. It's quite complicated, I think, this stuff, and I find it quite hard to predict what the final outcomes will be.
Yes.
But I suppose inevitably, systems that people tried to make be one thing will not. They'll end up being something different, and I don't want to say that's wasted effort, but basically, if you want to build your perfect system, you're probably going to have to start a new one.
Yes, I think maybe that's part of the plan. Okay, you've had it for that one. Now, really go and build the system you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, you almost needed to claim two systems really early on. The really pretty one that you have grand plots and schemes for, and then a little bit of a scruffy one round the corner that you can test on, so that
get a feel for
it and mess around with it and go, right, figured out what I need to do now in order to make this work, and then jump over into the other one. Because reading those notes, not gonna lie, still confused. I'm not very bright. It's and the sort of infographic that went out, I'm like, okay, so you could have this, but then what the body type is of the thing that you orbit then changes the station and affects the economy of that to then feed into the other thing. And also the other thing I've still not quite figured out yet is the stats that we get each week when we get our little architect payment. And it comes in and it goes, well, you've not done anything in the last you've not done anything for the last week, Chris, but somehow your people are happier, but you're making less money. I'm like, but I've done nothing this week. Like, exactly, Chris. That's why.
Oh, like, my people are constantly miserable, so it's I've invented Space Glasgow.
I'm just wondering, do you think there's any chance that we might get some kind of a graphical update to give you feedback about what these things do in game, to give you live feedback in your colonization screens?
Well, I don't think
just dreaming about this.
I think you might be dreaming about this, but we might as well point out at this point that the way the systems work at the moment is that if you place a large station in orbit, what happens is that it will take the market from whatever facilities you've got running down on the planet it's orbiting, regardless of what the planetary type it is. And if you can't put any facilities on that planet, then basically you are just stuck with a colony. Which is, all it's good for is creating bio-waste despite it's above an Earth-like.
I just said it's Space Glasgow.
What they've gone and done is they've sort of said, right, the economy is now for stations are basically linked. And the way that it links is that they have two kinds of link. They have a strong link, which is the economy will be influenced by, say you have a station in orbit around a planet that is habitable, and you put a whole load of facilities down on that planet, or any facilities in the same orbit as that planet, then those are all strong links. Any other stations around the rest of the system, they're weak links. So if you have a station around one planet that you've managed to build up a refinery in, but you've got over there a high tech around another planet, that high tech has a weak link to affect the your station's market. But because you've got a lot of refineries down on the planet, those are strong links, which means that the station in orbit will have a refinery market. I think that's how I understand this.
Yeah, okay. Similar, because what I sort of took is, I think I'm right in saying that strong links feel a little bit like what we had previously. So a link between a port and a facility located on the planets. So we already had an effect. If you had settlements on a planet, they affected the economy of like the Orbis orbiting that planet. So it sounds like strong links are what we sort of had already, and then to help with the problem of what do you do with a Coriolis that's orbiting a gas giant that can't have anything on its planet, they've introduced two things. One is weak links between sort of neighboring bodies and neighboring stations in the system, not just sort of parental stations, if you know what I mean, but siblings as well. But then they've also got this stuff about the planetary type still affecting the economy as well. So
Yeah, I did like that because it does mean that if you put a Coriolis around an Earth-like planet, or even a terraformable planet, it gets a boost towards an agricultural economy. I love the fact they've done that.
Yeah.
And
because oh, go on, Chris.
I was about to say you also can't have a tourist economy because your planets are ugly. Is another one I like.
Yes. So
yeah,
it's.
yeah.
I mean, I must admit, I do like the fact that they've gone into a great deal of detail about how each of these planetary planets will affect your stations, and it does kind of clean up a lot of a lot of confusion, or rather, as Chris, you might say, there's less confusion than there was, but we're still confused.
I'm now confused about things I wasn't confused about before. Thank you very much. Thank you for adding an extra layer to the original confusion.
And then on top of that, there's not only the markets, there's also changes to the population growth, which I'm looking through and I'm going, oh, okay. Yes, that's good. It's going to be a case of I'm going to learn by doing.
And they're going to be doing a lot, like rabbits, like absolute rabbits.
Yeah.
I fully expect the community to step up to the mark, and all these spreadsheets and lovely websites that we've got will need a bit more work. But then we'll be able to push sliders and see what happens. We'll have it'll be the equivalent of Coriolis or EDSY for systems. System builder tools is what we need.
I don't know. Do you add like brandy and stuff for a population boom? What's our
brandy loads inhibitions?
Brandy and beer. Yeah.
That is one thing that I did always think. Hang on a second, we're only 1,300 years in the future. Will the human race be getting busy enough to actually produce all those enough people to populate the galaxy as it is?
I just grow them in vats.
You know what? I'm quite sure Canon will actually have the figures in the spreadsheet showing us how the population expands to the present level of the bubble.
I mean, you know what it's like after you've had a war. Everybody's getting busy.
Everyone's trying to make up for the loss. Yes.
Everyone defrosting all those Fargoid popsicles that they rescued now to populate their space. There's no way that could possibly go wrong. Finally, Psychic can get rid of all those bodies on our fleet carrier.
Oh, she can't. They're all soup. It's like Interstellar, the fact that when all the astronauts they found the planets and then they went into hibernation, but they knew they had to be rescued in 10 years, otherwise they'd be turned to soup. It's a horrible thought. Anyway, the one final thing to point out is that we have port customization coming. There's a facility customization button to be added within station services for Architect when they're docked at their orbiting facilities. This allows architects to apply paint jobs to Coriolis, Ocelis, Orbis, asteroid bases, and outposts. This is their new arc stream.
Amazing.
You can have your purple asteroid base if you wish.
I like that it's not limited to the big ones. I like that you can apply cosmetics to outposts, because I don't have any of the big ones yet.
Do you think following Pitcon they might let us customize lights as well?
I think it's in there. It's going to be going in there, isn't it? Now that they saw us all go ooh at the screen when they showed it, it's definitely going on someone's little going for growth list for going in there. I'm just thinking, can we have like big poster spaces so that we can put decals on the outside of the station? You know,
I wish, because I want to put. I wish we could put some kind of Lave Radio specific decals around certain stations.
Yeah. It'd be
I
quite.
can't see them allowing you to upload your own custom images.
No.
though.
No, I immediately went there, and then what I thought was, there's quite a range of hollow ads already. It would be quite funny if you could, nice, if you could pick which particular hollow ads you favoured.
Yeah, that would be quite nice. I mean,
And then
there are quite a few of them.
I could surround my station in buckyball hollow ads. Is obviously where my thinking is going. But other hollow ads are available.
Yeah, but he doesn't want you to have them. So yes, this is going to be a massive patch which is coming in tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be able to discuss that and whatever happens at Frontier Unlocked tomorrow. Well, next week, when we've also got Psychic and the Chris Mark V back. So quickly on to Mostly Clueless. A couple of things to point out, actually. If, and it's a big if, you know the manufacturers of your ships, then if you're struggling to find the ship you want to use in this stupidly restricted shipyard list, use Manage Your Ships filter to filter the list by manufacturer and find the ship you're looking for more easily. So
funny, I suggested this, and I actually pointed it out on a live stream, one of Psychic's streams, when he was desperately scrolling the simple list backwards and forwards, which we've all done, looking for a ship you know is there but just can't find it because they're sorted on God knows what. Yeah, so I suggested this, and then Psychic quite rightly pointed out that's all very well unless you happen to not have a clue who the manufacturer of your Cobra or whatever is. And I realised I sort of made this tip, and then I actually tried to use it myself and realised I hadn't got a clue who made, what was I looking for? I don't know, the Mandalay or something.
Yeah. Personally, here's something I should point out. I mean, I got in trouble during the Dan. I got accused of kill stealing. Now, I was always under the impression that if you hit a ship and the ship is destroyed, you get a bounty. However, this only works if the enemy ship is under attack by either NPCs or someone you're in a wing with. Otherwise, the rule of whichever player got the last shot in gets the bounty. Now, I asked around, and it seems that this is still the case. It used to be a long time ago, but I thought that was fixed with wings.
I could have sworn I remember there being a patch note about that being fixed as well.
Yeah, but apparently I've asked around, and it is still a thing. So I owe a commander in the Mobius group approximately about 800,000 credits and an apology. So next time, ask any of your players in the instance you're on to wing up, and that will solve any problem like that.
Because they sorted it for the Fargoid War, didn't they? Because like Fargoid kills were kind of shared, regardless of wings, weren't they?
They were. Yeah,
they were. But this is one thing that I noticed, because I was actually shooting down ships, and I was not getting any bounty with this other commander. I was there going, that's weird. I'm supposed to be getting a bounty, aren't I?
Because you think because they got the last shot on some of them.
Yeah, because they got a last shot on one of them.
Did you wait? The one thing I wondered if it was still a thing is I seem to remember that you have to get a certain amount of damage in before you get anything. So, you know, if NPC cops have already started attacking a ship, and it's by the time you get to it, its shields have gone and its hull's on 10%.
Yeah.
If you only get one or two shots off before it blows up, I had a feeling you didn't get anything. Like there was some minimum threshold of damage.
That also rings a bell.
Yeah, I wonder whether or not I'd caused a little bit more damage than the other player did then.
I wonder.
But the upshot was that I was accused of kill stealing, and I thought, I thought kill stealing wasn't a thing anymore, but apparently it turns out it is. So
it's one of the only times I ever playing solo, funny enough, is when I think, oh, I don't really want to worry about kill stealing. I'll just go off by myself.
Well, normally what I found in the Dan CG was that if I did turn up in the instance, I would normally get an invite to a wing by complete strangers within a couple of minutes, and before you know it, we were racking up the kills left, right, and centre. It was actually a very player. Well, of course, being in the Mobius group, a player PVE experience was had by all. I think I went into open once by accident, and I think I got about 30 light seconds towards the hazardous zone and got jumped, and I thought, I just can't. I let him kill me, and I went, I just can't be bothered with you. Block, go back to Mobius. So yeah, it's just one of those moments you just go, oh, God, just kill us already, all right? Anyway, on a more positive, we'll leave it on a more positive note. So we'll do our. Has anybody got any other business first? Nope. Okay, shout-outs. Our sister station, Hutton Orbital Radio. It broadcasts on a Thursday from 8:30. You can tune in at twitch.tv/Hutton Orbital Truckers, or if you just want the audio, go to radio.forthemug.com. For the discerning commander that still likes a bit of CQC action, check out the CQC Discord at discord.me/Elite Dangerous CQC, and also we'll give the shout-outs to the following Elite Dangerous podcasts that are still available, and that is the Guard Frequency, who do other space games as well, the feed should now be appearing again because they had problems with Apple, but that seems to be all sorted. And we have Loose Screws as well, who I really enjoyed their deep dive on the Corsair. That was very helpful. And of course, if you speak French, and Psychic's not here to tell me that she lets to do the funky.
I was going to say, Psychic lets the funky music do the talking.
She does. There is the wonderful Elite Dangerous podcast, but also they've got the other fantastic Elite Dangerous missions as well. So following on this, and I'm really looking forward to this, we had the latest Galnet News Digest as provided by Commander Witherspoon and Commander Beetlejude, where Galnet Digest will attempt to explain the economy changes.
They understand colonization, so we don't have to.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. So thanks to everybody who's chipped in on the Twitch chat and the in-game commanders today. Who have we got, Chris?
We have had Andy Sharp 42, Happy Sack, Isla Candela, Siberius, Electro Ace, and Rocky Star.
Excellent. Special thanks, of course, go to the wonderful Commander Tokuso, go buy his album, JN Tracks, and Alan Stroud, who have all created music that we use on this show. But that's it for another episode of Lave Radio. If you'd like to get in touch with the show, you can find all the contact links in the home/contact us menu of the laveradio.com website. Do let us know if you have any questions or if there's anything you'd like us to discuss in a future episode. Lave Radio is recorded live on a Tuesday evening at 8:30 and streamed out at laveradio.com. So, thanks to Alec.
Thanks, Colin, and thank you, Bert, Rini, and everyone who contributed. You did a wonderful thing. Night all.
Excellent. And thanks to Ben.
Good night all.
Of course, special thanks goes to today's tech specialist and presenter, that'd be the Chris Mark IV.
You're welcome.
So, until next time, Commanders, fly safe. But if you can't do that, fly dangerous now.
Is your life like this? Sounds like someone having an orange inserted into them. You need a safe word.
Space can be loaded.
I'm going to see the galaxy.
No worries, guys. Hold the fort for 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Galnet News Digest, 29th of April 3311. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, we look at the changes to economies within colonised systems that'll be made on Wednesday, the 30th of April.
Brewer Corporation has announced that the beta period of the Trailblazers Colonization initiative is coming to its end. They will be rolling out some major changes that will dramatically impact the economies and population growth of new and existing colonies. There are broadly 4 sets of changes. Links between supporting facilities and ports, and also between ports. Boosts to economy types, from the different sorts of stars, planets and moons within the system, how colony ports automatically adapt to the type of body they are orbiting, and how population will increase as the system matures. Let's take a look at each of these in turn.
As a system architect, you can build a variety of constructions. For the purposes of the system economy, these can be split into the facilities that create things and the facilities that sell them. The facilities that create things are settlements, installations and hubs. Some settlements have their own markets, but these are the equivalent of a farm shop, and most of what's produced still gets shipped off to market. The marketplaces are the ports, which includes outposts, starports, that's Coriolis, Orbis and Acellus, asteroid bases, and the 2 sizes of planetary port. There are 2 sorts of supply chain: settlements, installations and hubs on or around a planet will automatically form strong links with local ports, ones that are on or around the same planet. They'll also form weaker links with ports elsewhere in the system, so every facility in the system will be feeding the markets in all the ports to a greater or lesser degree. These links will affect the supply and demand for commodities and will also impact on the shipyard and outfitting stock in ports.
Let's look at strong links first. If there is more than a single port on or around a body, strong links will also form between the ports. If there's a planetary port and an orbital station, all the facilities on the planet will form strong links to the planetary port, and that port will then itself form a strong link with the starport, passing on the economic benefit of the facilities. If there are several orbiting starports around the same body, the supply chains from local facilities will flow to the highest tier starport. If there's more than one starport at the same tier, the oldest one gets the trade. The lower tier starports will also form strong supply chain links to the higher tier and older ports. So, for example, outposts, Coriolis and asteroid bases will supply goods to Orbis and Acellus starports. So, the oldest port at the highest tier should be the best place to buy and sell commodities and should also have the best shipyard and outfitting.
Weak links connect facilities in other parts of the system to each port. They have less effect than a strong link, but it does at least mean that that space farm you built round the star will now be able to supply produce to all the planetary ports and orbital starports in the system. Facilities can have strong links to local ports and weak links to the ports elsewhere in the system. Facilities do not link to one another, they only link to ports. This means that starports in a system will generally have a mixed economy, made up proportionately of the output of the facilities, the settlements, hubs, and orbital installations. Anywhere in the system, the mix of commodities and outfitting options will reflect this. It sounds complex, but the effect should be a lot fewer biowaste factories and richer and more varied economies. Helpfully for system architects, the strong and weak links that already exist and that will be created will be displayed when a new construction is being placed. Links between existing facilities and ports will be created on the 30th of April.
The second change is that we now have visibility of the effect that different types of celestial body have on an economy. It seems self-evident that an Earth-like world will deliver a higher agricultural output than a distant icy body. Now we have the details. An agricultural economy is boosted if the port is on or around an Earth-like world, a terraformable body, or a body that has organic life. The agricultural output is decreased if it's on or around an icy body, or on a body where tidal locking means that half the planet or moon is perpetually in darkness.
An extraction economy is boosted by volcanism, and also if the body has pristine or major resources, while it is decreased if the remaining resources are low or depleted. A high-tech economy is boosted if it's orbiting an Earth-like or ammonia world, and also boosted if the body has geological or organic biological features. Industrial and refinery economies are boosted by the system as a whole having pristine or major resources, and decreased if the system only has low or depleted resources. Finally, tourism gets a boost if it's orbiting an Earth-like world, a water world, or an ammonia world, or if it's around or on a system with geological or organic features. If there's a black hole, neutron star or white dwarf anywhere in the system, tourism is increased in all ports. These boosts only modify strong trade links, the links between facilities and ports on or around a single body. Weak links between facilities and ports around different bodies are not boosted by the types of celestial bodies.
The third change is that colony ports will automatically adapt to an economy appropriate to the body they are on or orbiting. Is similar but opposite to how the boosts work. If it's a planet that gives a boost to agricultural and tourism, the port will adapt itself to agriculture and tourism as an economy. What will your colony starport become? Here's the list.
If it's orbiting a black hole, a neutron star or a white dwarf, and if it is, it'll be orbiting a lot slower after Wednesday, the port's economy will include tourism and high tech. If it's orbiting any other type of star, it will be military.
A port orbiting an Earth-like world will have an economy split between agriculture, high tech, military and tourism. Sounds lovely. If it's round a water world, you get the agricultural and tourism, but not the high tech or military. Whereas if you build your port around an ammonia world, you'll get the high tech and tourism without the agriculture or military.
Gas giants of any flavour give you a high-tech and industrial economy, while high metal content and metal-rich worlds both give an extraction economy. Rocky worlds provide a refinery economy, and ice worlds mean industrial. Rocky ice worlds give you both refinery and industrial.
There are additional modifiers that stack with the body type to give the eventual economy type for colony ports and stations. If there are rings round the planet or an asteroid belt round the star where the port has been built, the port will also have an extraction economy. So, if it's orbiting a neutron star with an asteroid belt, if such a thing exists, the starport will be high-tech, tourism and extraction.
If the planet has organic biological things living on it, even if it's just bacteria, you have agriculture and terraforming added to your port's economy, while if you have geological features, you get extraction and industrial. So, for example, starports orbiting a rocky planet with stratum tectonicus and fumaroles will have an economy split 5 ways, between refinery from the planet type, agriculture and terraforming from the organics, and extraction and industrial from the geological features.
The production of facilities is directly linked to the population of the facility. So it's good news that the fourth change that Brewer is making is to allow populations to increase faster and to higher levels than before. System architects should notice an immediate population increase, with population continuing to increase each week, normally on Thursdays. Growth should be rapid at first, but it will slow as the maximum population of the system is reached, so it should be easy to get economies established and productive quickly, with significantly improved production of commodities. Self-sustaining economies in deep space far from the bubble should now become achievable. The maximum population in a system depends on the facilities and ports.
In only slightly related news, and to kickstart another sort of economy, from Wednesday, system architects will be able to buy paint jobs to customise their starports. This applies to orbital outposts, asteroid bases, Coriolis, Ocelis and Orbis starports. Planetary ports are not included and will remain drab and featureless for the time being. We can only wait with trepidation to see what colour schemes will be available.
And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News, we read the patch notes so you don't have to.